Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our channel. The issue of insecurity in the south and the northern part of Nigeria has caused people to go back in time in history and revisit the issue of Aburi Accord agreement documentation. People were wondering, why can't we go back to it? What even made it to fail? What is in the content of the Aburi Accord? And Nigerians are looking back into history to find out what they can dig deep, despite the fact that there have been calls for referendum. Biafra agitators have been calling for their own sovereign state. Odimegwu Republic has also been calling for sovereign state. Some other quarters are looking at referendum and regionalization, that's restructuring in particular. But in all, people are wondering what made Aburi Accord what it is, and why are people looking back into history to find out why it goofed. Before we go into the news report to find out what Aburi Accord is all about and the content in it that is making people to begin to point accusing fingers on both regions now, both southeast and the northern part and the southwest. We'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you will see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, the Aburi Accord remains a watershed moment in the history of Nigeria, not for the agreement that was reached, but for the discord that was created by head of state General Yakubu Gowon and leader of the eastern region Colonel Odimegwu Ojukwu, which later plunged the country into the Biafran War. It is imperative that we enlighten ourselves with the communique issued at the end of the two-day meeting held between the 4th and 5th of January 1967. At the time, Lieutenant General Ankara was Ghanaian leader. He presided over the meeting. Now the content. 1. A military committee comprising representatives of the regions should meet to take statistics of arms and ammunition in the country. Unallocated stores of arms and ammunition held in the country should be shared equitably between the various commands in the Federation. 2. The army should be reorganized in order to restore discipline, confidence. Specifically, A. The army should be governed by the Supreme Military Council, which would be chaired by a commander-in-chief of the armed forces and the head of the federal military government. B. Area commands under area commanders and corresponding to existing regions should be created. C. During the period of the military government, military governors should have control over area commands for internal security. D. A military headquarters comprising equal representation from the regions and headed by chief of staff should be established. E. A Lagos garrison including Ikeja barracks should be created. Then that's for 2 now. Now for 3 now, in accordance with the decision of the August 9, 1966, army personnel of 1. The northern Nigerian origin should return to the north from the west. In order to meet the security needs of the west, a crash program of recruitment and training is necessary, but the details should be examined after the military committee has finished their work. Then number 4, it says Supreme Military Council should deal with all matters of policy, including promotion to top executive posts in the armed forces and the police. Have you seen? The Supreme Military Council should be the one in charge of that too. Number 5, the legislative and executive authority of the federal military, that's the government, should be referred for determination, provided that where a meeting was not possible, such a matter must be referred to the military governors for their comments and concurrence. That's the military governors should be carried along. Number 6, appointment to the diplomatic and consular posts as well as to super-scale posts in the federal public service and equivalent posts in the federal corporation should be approved by the Supreme Military Council. This thing was well documented though. Number 7, with a view to promoting mutual confidence, all decrees or provisions of decrees passed since January 15, 1966, which detracted from the previous powers and position of the regional government should be repealed. Law officers of the Federation should meet in Benin on January 14, 1967 and list all the decrees or provisions of decrees concerned so that they may be repealed not later than January 27, 1967, if possible. Number 8. A meeting of permanent secretaries of the ministries of finance of all the governments in the Federation should be convened within 2 weeks to consider ways and means of resolving the serious problems posed by displaced persons all over the country. Number 9. Displaced civil servants and corporation staff, that's including daily paid employees, should continue to be paid their full salaries until March 31st. In 1967, provided they have not secured alternative employment, the military governors of the East, West, and Midwest should send representatives, that's police commissioners, to meet and discuss the problem of recovery of property left behind by displaced persons. Number 10. The ad hoc constitutional committee should resume sitting as soon as practicable, and question of accepting the unanimous recommendations of September 1966 should be considered at a later meeting of the Supreme Military Council. Number 11. For at least the next 6 months, there should be purely a military government having nothing to do with politicians. Number 12. The deceased military leaders should be accorded full military honors due to them. Number 13. All government information media should be restrained from making inflammatory statements and causing embarrassment to various governments in the Federation. Number 14. Lieutenant General Colonel Ojukwu should keep his order that non-Easterners should leave the Eastern region under constant review with a view to its being lifted as soon as practicable. Number 15. The next meeting of the Supreme Military Council should be within Nigeria at a venue to be mutually agreed. For all intents and all purposes, that's what is written in the Aburi Accord. Now, if you check the Aburi Accord, it makes quite a lot of sense. Now, imagine if you had followed it to the latter. Okay, a lot of things is mentioned in the military angle. Then Nigeria was more militarized than democratic. All right, so a lot of things, we had military governors then and all that. So they were trying to still bring in a bit of democracy, but while wearing the uniform of military in it. So most of the time you keep hearing things like military, but in all, the accord made a lot of sense. And the way they actually streamlined the military would have been so transparent, so dignifying. There will be growth in every rank and file without anybody feeling terrible or feeling marginalized or feeling disgruntled for coming from any particular region. And same with even workers. The way they analyze the whole thing made a lot of sense. Now, there have been a lot of arguments within the circle. Some person said along the line, the way Ojukwu, the late Ojukwu interpreted it was a bit different from the way the other counterparts interpreted it, hence it didn't work. But from all indication, they said one party among the two of them refused to acknowledge the Aburi Accord, hence it failed, and hence it's not what it is today.